I'm just going to grab some water, and then I'll be here for, streams. These are the sounds you make as you approach 40 years of age. I'm 30. I think I'm 37 now. Who knows? Can't remember. Hi. Oh no. This is embarrassing. Like, that'll do, right? It's not the most flattering angle, but I'm not the most flattering man. How is everyone doing? I hope you are well. Thank you very much for my beautiful mods being here. Summy Yeti, J Bird, you're beautiful, beautiful people. Very, very, very appreciated. Yeah, legends. Ghetto, hello. Hello. Mr. Sparrow. Good to see you. Good to see you all. And other people. Other people as well. Mr. 420, that's what your new name is. I very rarely read your name out on stream, but I read your questions. Greetings from Orlando. Hurricanes passed and somehow we kept the power. Good. I hope people are keeping safe. I know there's dangers around coast of America, so hope you and yours are good. Uncertain times at the moment. When hasn't it been over the last 5 years, eh? 4 years, several years. We've got cool star citizen. Look, I tell you what. Obviously, in the sort of monthly updates, I talk about the channel and myself a little bit, and on streams, I talk a reasonable amount about other topics, not just Star Citizen. But I'll keep on making Star Citizen content throughout all the time that we possibly can, and it's viable to do so. Obviously, if everyone explodes at some point, might be less relevant to make Star Citizen content, but maybe that'll be a nice escape for some people. So I'm in this for the long run. me and Zin are making content. We're going to start covering more and more gameplay content as it becomes viable to cover gameplay content and actually play it, do things in it, talk about guides and individual missions and some cool stuff that happens in Star Citizen beyond just news. The future is looking more and more bright for that. And we've got obviously some major things happening soon. We've got CitizenCon next Saturday, so Saturday the 8th of October. That's going to be huge. That's going to be a huge amount of development information dumped on us, which we will be picking through. I may be joining. I'm planning to spend the day taking the information from CitizenCon and making videos from it. Picture of summaries and all that sort of stuff. I know other content creators are going to be doing live streams of it and sort of watch parties. I may join some other creators doing bits of a watch party. I don't do a watch party for the whole day because I'm going to be busy. So I may join some other channels and I'll put up who I'm joining and all that sort of jazz. I've had a few offers, yeah, I'm worried that I'll be disrupted because I'll be effectively working during the day, rather than available to stream in a way that, you know what I mean. I'm going to be making notes and working out what's important, what's not. Good morning. Am I having a good day? Yes, it's been all right so far. Got a lot of my chores done. Got my plans out for the next few days, content-wise. Obviously, it's the last day of September. Moving into October tomorrow. That means new sort of outro for the videos. I'm going to try and compress the shilling in videos somewhat. So it's shorter at the end. The outro is effectively shorter, and I'm sort of going to combine NordVPN and at the moment I'm also promoting OBR Tracker. So I sort of compress that. So it's if people want to watch the outros for the silly stuff that we shield for, great. But I typically don't put sponsorships and promotions at the beginning of my videos because they sort of get more in the way of the content, as well as have people to go, no frills, this is news. Sometimes talk about what I think about it, sometimes elaborate on it. It's not as sort of clear, it's not as short and concise and compressed as like Noobifier's content, but it is sort of the next level beyond that, sort of elaborating on it a bit more. But I like news content, and I create news content in the way that I absorb news content. Hopefully people like that. However, if there are sponsorships or promotions in the future, typically there'll be one-offs that require, because some sponsorship stuff require you to do it, or they want you to do it in the first like 3 or 4 minutes of a video, do an integration, they would call it. Sometimes I'll do that because you can make quite a lot of money from that, and you know, I quite like money. I'm sorry some of you will be like, what? I didn't know this. I quite like cash, and if it's a relevant promotion, I go, some people might like this, or no, it's enough money, then I'll promote something. Typically it will be things that I think it will only be things that I think my audience will like, or at least some of the audience will like. One of the things, how much money do you think you should, what level do you sell out for Raid Shadow Legends? I was offered so much money last year for Raid Shadow Legends coverage, and I went, nah, it's not, I can't get behind it. I could make a comical advert for it where I basically said shit, or I don't like it. But how much money do you have to go, you know what, I'll sell out? Don't need to sell out for Star Citizen. I love Star Citizen. Not even a useful idiot for Star Citizen. They can't buy me. I'm already invested myself into it. But I hope everyone is doing well. Please, question in brackets if you'd like to ask a question. Why do you think there's not a Quanta panel and update this year? Probably because they are working on other more important things that are prerequisites of them advancing Quanta. I suspect that Quanta has probably advanced somewhat technically, but in tangible actuality of how it presents itself, probably not so much. So they're waiting on things like server meshing and that sort of jazz now, and improved network code, PES, all that sort of jazz. That's my expectation. But I wouldn't put it past CIG for doing another Quanta update within the next 6 months. Sinanju. Is that correctly pronouncing your name, Sinanju420? Love the Pokenord. Had a good laugh from it. Yeah, I'm glad people like the silliness of the sort of adverts at the end of my videos and outros and stuff. I really like things like comment and Commenticate. I can't even say his channel name. With Eric. So internet comment etiquette. I really love that channel. I love internet history and things like that. I think their adverts, the way they present them, their humour for it is sort of, you want to be able to take the piss out of it, but you also want to provide things that you think might be useful for the audience. Because you go, look, we all know what's going on here. I want to make money by producing the ad. I'm getting paid to do this, or I'm getting like referral bonuses or whatever. But let's make it tongue-in-cheek, or let's take the piss out of it a bit, because you might want it. You might genuinely want it. So I use NordVPN, for example. I use a Tobii Eye Tracker 5. Would I have bought a Tobii Eye Tracker 5 if they hadn't provided me and Sin with one? That is another question. Yes, probably, actually. Yeah. Probably. Yeah, I would have bought one. I would have bought one just to do a video on it. Hatsune Miku. Hello, Bored. How's it going? What day is CitizenCon on, by the way? It's Saturday, the 8th of October. So not this Saturday, next Saturday. It starts from 3 p.m. UTC. So that's, if you're in the UK, that will be 4 p.m. I believe, but at 3 p.m. UTC. 3 p.m. GMT plus 0. I appreciate all the kind words. Thank you so much. Thank you for people. Lots of people signing up and becoming board members and becoming board citizens. Thank you very much. If people do want to support the stream further, there's obviously the join button under my videos. You can subscribe on Twitch. You can donate, direct donate. You can click the thanks button. There's any of those, both Patreon. It's all good. Whatever medium people like. You don't have to give to the channel. You don't have to give to the channel to have your question read out either. I will come to it eventually. I'm a little bit manic today. I am bipolar, so sort of bear with me. I'm a bit scatterbrained. Turn it up. Thank you very much for the turned up. Is that? Oh, thank you very much for the becoming a YouTube member, boy. It was very much appreciated. Thank you. Thank you. I can't wait for the Evocati to leak 3.18. So. I don't think there's going to be much leak in the way of the Evocati test that's about to start hopefully within the next few days. Could be today, could be the weekend, could be next week. I don't think much will leak with that, or will, but it won't be much in the way of interesting information, because they're going to be focusing on PES, persistent entity streaming. So there'll be silly things you can do. You can break lots of stuff, but it's going to be very buggy. Yeah, I think Clan Imperium recently just put out a statement basically saying we're doing some tests at the moment. There's some bugs that we need to solve internally before the 3.18 goes to Evocati, because it's irrelevant sending it to Evocati at the moment because these bugs make it prohibitive to play. So they're sort of sorting that out over the next couple of days. Every day, apparently, though, they have a go-no-go meeting for the Evocati build. And they assess one and go, is it ready for Evocati? As soon as it is, bam, it'll go out. And you can expect it to be almost entirely focused on persistent entity streaming. So very little of the other features in. But still very much looking forward to that. Obviously, I can't talk about the very specifics in Evocati patch that's being tested at the time, because I'm NDA'd for that non-disclosure agreement. I am an Evocati member. So sort of bear that in mind. I won't be producing videos on those leaks. A best guess until we see 4.0. Summer Yeti, I think Q2 of 2023. So end of sort of June time. That's my best guess at the moment for 4.0. We could see a small 3.19 patch between when 3.18 releases and 4.0. I think there's obviously loads of core tech and big ticket items that Cloud Imperium need to get solved, which affects their quarterly release schedule somewhat. I do think they'll want to get a 3.19 patch out if they can, but I think, yeah, they're going to be more focused on 4.0, and 4.0 optimistically Q2 2023 of next year is my best guess at the moment. Thank you so much. Turn up. Thanks for your videos. Oh, that is very much appreciated. Thanks for your money. Thanks for watching. Oh, you star. That is very, very kind. At the moment, in real life, I'm house hunting. Obviously, the economy in the UK and around the world is a bit erratic, shall we say, at the moment. So I'm probably gonna look for houses still, but probably purchase around sort of January, February time. If I find something I want. I don't know where I'm gonna live either. I haven't decided. Somewhere in the UK, somewhere in England, but I can sort of live anywhere I want within that area. I could move up close to Zin and her partner, because obviously we were very good friends. I could move slightly north to like Leeds, which is obviously pretty close to Manchester and their studio there. And I've got loads of friends up there, and I'd then have a place that Zin and her partner and my mates up in Leeds could all get together and play board games, which is the dream. Regularly playing board games and eating delicious food. But it'd be nice to have, so people like John Crew and stuff that work at CIG, and Johnny Gervais. I apologise for potentially not saying his name correctly. They're really good people. And they play 40k and Age of Sigmar and stuff like that. And we have had a long-running thing where we want to play together, but we've never had the opportunity. So that would be also cool to be up there and be able to actually do that. Invite someone around and go, let's play games, or go over to theirs. And it's not like a 6-hour journey. So really, that's going to influence where I go somewhere. I mean, I could stay in the town I'm currently in. I've obviously got lots of friends here. The communication barrier in Leeds. I'm very southern. That is true. I've got about $700 until I get my F8 executive, and if they debut something meaty for this IAE or CitizenCon, that'll put me over the mark, you monster, Samietti. We got. If you and Zin were offered good jobs at CIG, would you take them? If they were for a huge amount of money, maybe. I'm bipolar. I'm very erratic. I really enjoy working from home and for myself. I do run other businesses as well beyond my Star Citizen stuff. Although this is the moneymaker, and the good old YouTube boy, and streamy boys. So. If they offered Zin a really good job, I would encourage her to take it. It was like for a load of money. But like, yeah, no worries. Low effort's the channel's name, don't you worry. We'll still keep on making the news. But the idea with Zin as an editor is that she gives me someone to play Star Citizen with, get better shots. She can evolve her editing style somewhat and learn animation, which she's been learning animation for the last few months a little bit. So that's the sort of main thing. You should see value added to the videos more and more as we sort of go through the years. I appreciate someone saying approaching 40, still very young. That's appreciated. 37 at the moment. Getting there. Will Star Citizen be released before I'm 50? Oh no! Do you use control sticks? You should post the best controls on your site. So I've got a Verbal Constellation Delta, which is by far the best HOTAS I've used, bar none. I've used a lot. I've used the Warthog and the X52 and X55 and T16000s. So I think that's also the latest stick I've used. So I haven't used any of the newer Verbal stuff or any of the is it Black Viper? Russian brand? Whatever they are. I haven't used any of them. So maybe I need to start looking at control devices again. I prefer mouse and keyboard, just because for recording, for moving into first person more easily, more readily. It's for ease of use, which is a little annoying because obviously the immersion and control you get with the HOTAS is just feels superb. Who else hyped that we're getting procedural derelicts for salvage? So, I suppose they are procedural. This was not how I would describe it necessarily. So, yes, in 3.18, you will be able to salvage player and NPC ships when their ship shields are down. So basically, when you've beaten them, their husks will be left behind in a lot of cases after you've blown them up. And also, there will be salvage sites. There will be derelicts that spawn specifically to be salvaged as well. So you do not need combat or combat to have happened to salvage in those situations. I'm not sure if they're going to be spawning on the ground, because that would require impact and placement on the ground. We'll have to wait and see. Thank you for crafted content. It's always better than live streams. No worries. I appreciate the love. Yet still no release dates for Squadron 42 yet. Freeze-dried chill. Just add water. Nice. What did you think of the Inside Star Citizen episode? So I thought it was good because they weren't just going, this is what the components of 3.18 are. They went, these are the updates to things for 3.18 that you've previously seen, but these are updates to them. So I quite liked that. There's obviously a lot of cool stuff there with salvage. They went, look, you can salvage through a ship once its shields down. You're going to have those fresh derelict sites that will spawn. You've got buggy racing. There's 8 buggies that are going to be on the track. You don't have to spawn them yourselves. They spawn on the little sidebar on the track. Security Post Korea, that's got a load of changes there. Crime stats, up to a crime stat 2, you can actually land in areas and pay off with fines. You can surrender to law enforcement now from those terminals as well. You get 20% off your prison sentence. What else we got? DMR crash site stuff, load of missions, combat missions tied there, delivery missions tied there. They will have sand nomads there in the future as the NPCs. But at the moment it's Ninetales because they haven't finished it. Loads of river updates. Rivers look better, smoother, little cliffs on the side of them. Loads more rivers. I think a lot of people are worried that they haven't talked about cargo refactor. So they will talk about that next quarter. That's going to be sort of turning up, say, next quarter. Starting in November, they should start talking about that. So, yeah, I think it's pretty exciting. But it's CitizenCon in a few days' time. So, 8 days, almost just fractionally over 8 days at the moment, I think. Because, 8 days and half an hour. So we know some of the panels that are going to be here, but there could be some other stuff going on as well. There's going to be like prizes to give away. There's going to be things to get involved with on the stream. Obviously, a lot of this is going to be pre-recorded videos, but there should be some other presence going on the Twitch stream, as it's a sort of live stream. These panels are going to be pre-recorded. There's no giant keynote with a huge gameplay demo. But I hope maybe Chris Roberts will say something. Maybe we'll have a letter from the chairman on the same day. Something like that would be cool. But it's all themed on the journey to 4.0. And we've got Planetary Pyro. So an in-engine tour of some of the planets and moons in Pyro. Some of the cool stuff there. And that's going to be pretty cool because, look, this is what we've built out of Pyro at the moment. We've got Design Brief. So they're going to be talking about new mission archetypes and the sort of how they pitch and work these things out. I love the idea that they're going to be talking about a investigation styled mission. So that'll be exciting. New underground sand caves, and then obviously they've got other archetypes of caves set up with ice caves and acid caves and all that sort of stuff. But you can also expect them to be talking about new buildings, underground bunkers, other underground facilities that are going to start turning up. Need for speed, or multiple speeds. So they're talking about master modes, and they're talking about sort of how ship and vehicle combat will be affected by some changes to the persistent universe for sort of ship rolls and combat speeds and all this sort of stuff. Because they don't want ships to joust. They don't want it just to be woo, woo. They want a proper dogfight. You can tell what's going on with my hands. They're briefly in shot sometimes. Lorville Redux. They're improving Lorville and its cityscape. See how that looks. I suspect it will look awesome. Power play. So this is one of the most exciting things for this year's CitizenCon for me. This is them talking about the resource management system, which has transfers energy and power around the ships properly in a circuit, which leads to physical components. It leads to true multi-crew gameplay, damage control, engineering. Huge amount of gameplay there, as well as buildings and stations also using the system to move and generate power, which will then be important for missions and emergent gameplay and all that sort of jazz. And then we have talking ship. So they're going to be going through the ship pipeline, giving us some ship updates, and talking about a twist on voting for a new ship to come. So they're probably going to be voting on some cool ideas they've got. Go, look, we've got some stuff that we're going to be bringing to concept, and we're going to be making within the next year or so. Help us vote. And then got some other cool little things happening. But really, really excited for CitizenCon. There's going to be some genuinely fantastic things there. Buggy racing needs throwable items. I mean, what's to stop someone else being in the side seat? So there's potentially some other stuff that you could do. They will eventually allow some more interactions from passengers in vehicles. So throwing things, shooting things. I like the idea of a more combat orientated buggy race. I'm not sure how enforced the buggy racing will be in game, or if it's just, this is here, you can use it, but it's, you know, player enforced. It becomes more like bumper cars, right? You need a respawn point or some sort of medical facility really close, don't you? I suppose they're literally next to the track. Hello. I hope you're doing well, Astro Chronicles. I'm definitely looking forward to the Lorville rework. Getting in Gen. My homesick could use some more love. Lorville versus Orlesen. Both cool, eh? I mean, all the landing zones are cool. What else have we got? I went off on a bit of a tangent there. But I do that. If you were a lead game designer for CIG, how would you rectify griefing in the persistent universe? So the problem is that it can only really be dealt with over a long period of time. So some of the things I do about griefing is clearly define griefing and how it is different from legitimate gameplay. Yeah? So clearly define it. So there's no, I think he was griefing me. And if people do say, like, this is griefing, they can go, no, actually, by definition, it's not griefing, so that people can actually report it and actually report it more appropriately. I would, there's various things why people grief, or that things are perceived as griefing. So unexpected PvP or attacks can be seen as griefing because you're like, I don't want to participate in this. What's the point in you being a pirate? You can't do anything from it. Why are you attacking me? There's no reason for you to, and it doesn't get you anything. That's grief. So a lot of people see that. Or argue that, or some people will at least, and a lot of people just want to play out what it would be like to be a pirate. Sometimes you get killed in like crossfire, or for a weird reason you just assume it's griefing. I'm just giving you some examples. Sometimes it is griefers. Sometimes it is people that literally just want to go and bully you, or are using exploits to do a particular thing, or you know, shouting racial epithets in chat. So giving PvPers more things to do in certain areas and focusing them in that area, making some systems significantly safer, expanding out the reputation system so it basically doesn't allow players with low reputations in those systems, or reputations that are anti-security and anti-lawful, to enter them. They enter them, they just get blown up by the security forces or the blockades at the gates and things like that. So like 1.0 space versus nullsec in Eve. There's lots of stuff you could do like that. Just improving the law system, making what ships you're allowed to shoot out very clear, so that if you see a ship approaching you, you know he's got a low reputation and you can attack him. So a lot of the time it's not as clear cut as you think, and someone can just get away with attacking you before you can respond. And just generally, as they expand out more gameplay, piracy actually becomes a lot more viable. There's a lot more options to it. You can more readily report them and request help. You can more readily transfer the money. Boarding's a thing. Piracy actually is a thing. So more gameplay, more good. Less griefy because people are less bored. I'm not saying that's the only reason people grief. I'm saying, that will go a long way to help. Will there be different salvaging heads we can buy? Yes, in the future, different salvaging components and stuff. Not sure what we're getting for the very first implementation. Just assume that it's going to be one head and no additional upgrades and components, but we could have some. What's your Halloween costume this year? Ever going to cosplay as your own Star Citizen character? Oh, I mean, I look like the original Star Citizen character if I have a bit of a shave. I don't know. I don't even know if I'm going to a Halloween party this year. If I do, I'll dress up to a moderate level. I'll think about dressing up. I mean, I've got mates that have got like film quality Predator outfits and things like that. So I always feel depressed. Like, oh, well, that's good. Do you think they might talk about the use of new power system in terms of racing, like tuning a car in Gran Turismo, Forza, or tuning your ship for racing? Probably not this year, although they might like mention it. I think they'll within the next couple of years they'll start talking about tuning and customization for ships much more readily. Do you have any news on how desync on foot lag will be affected by PES and the new future of server structure? So there's a load of network updates and upgrades and improvements that they're going to be making on the sort of road to getting server tick rates to a standard, continuous, consistent 30. Once they get there and they tweak some of the animation stuff, you'll probably have almost accurate enough on foot with prediction and all that sort of stuff that you don't see jitter and stutter anymore. So that's what we're working towards. And that's not too far away at all. Do you think the cargo factor will make it into 3.18? Probably. I think there is a bigger question there, though. How tangible is that cargo factor in terms of gameplay? Because it might be minimal for 3.18, or actually gameplay it changes. So gameplay-wise, it could potentially change very, very, very little, because it will just be like more interaction with your cargo. You can actually pick up boxes and place them. You could argue that that's quite a lot of extra stuff, but I don't think it's a huge amount. I think that it will then sort of expand out for 3.19 and 4.0 quite considerably. But I think probably required for PES, or PES is required for it. Do you think they might talk about the use of... As we talked about that. The first channel I joined. Thank you very much, Dead Up. I appreciate that. Does persistent entity streaming allow for us to persist loose items we throw on the floor of our ships between different shards? I believe so. So, what happens with persistent entity streaming in 3.18 is that if you put an item on the ground, it persists there in that shard, in that server. But when you log out and come back in, you might not be on that same shard or server. So it'll be there for someone else. I'm expecting, actually, there to effectively be less servers and shards running, because they don't need to keep on restarting them. Yeah, there's not going to be like 500 different instances constantly running. There's going to be like 30 or something. Really rough random number I pulled up my ass. Okay, so there's going to be like 30 because the persistent state. So if that server crashes, they don't need to start a new server. They don't need to have a server like there's one person on because it's dying. They go close the server, start it with that same persistent entity data on. So sort of bear that in mind. Now, stowing and unstowing. Inventories and ship inventories, I believe, get stowed appropriately. So if you leave items on ships, load of rubbish in a pile, yeah, as long as that rubbish is of a level that is not too low, where it instantly gets destroyed when it gets streamed out, because there might be like shell casings and things that might happen with. That should, when you stow it, when you put it into your inventory effectively, by landing and storing it, and it gets stored, when you respawn it, not reclaim it, when you get it out of storage, should have all that stuff still there, as far as I'm aware. I don't believe there's going to be pedestrians to run over on the racecourse, but maybe you can get out of your buggy. What tech is holding Theatres of War back? So they've sort of... The teams that are working on Theatres of War are currently working on general improvements to the game and the FPS and Arena Commander and sort of Star Marine experiences-ish. So sort of helping the whole game as a whole. It's netcode that is holding Theatres of War back, in my opinion. And that's what it looks like. That's the general consensus, I believe. So they will revisit it. They will get it in game at some point. It is not the time until probably after server meshing. Would you rather they stop releasing new ships and instead focus on cool new paints and other things to customize ships as a way to make money? That's a really good question, because that is something potentially that some of the ship team could do. Although I think that they're more likely to use... They weren't working on ship teams, but they weren't working on ships. They'd be working on structures and internals of like underground facilities and sort of cities and things, so, and locations. Yeah, I love the idea of a paint system, though that could probably be a different team that works on a more unique and customizable paint system for all ships and armors and weapons that you could use, rather than a drag and drop individual system. Customization of ships in general I think is awesome, but again I think we'll see that a little bit later after they get things like the resource management system in. Rumpy, I appreciate you sharing. So I think I'm pretty lucky on the sort of anxiety and bipolar front. Mine's very manageable. I have very bad days sometimes, but they're not unmanageable. The worst that will happen is that for a few days I'll be sort of lay up in bed just going, I can barely motivate myself, but I still am able to motivate myself to do some stuff. I go, tomorrow's me needs me to do some work or go for a run or not eat entire crap. Actually, when I'm bad, I'm not necessarily bad. Okay, so I've been feeling rough for like the last week. I'm feeling a lot better now, and had a bad back. So I've been eating poorly and not doing as much exercise. So I got a bit tub. That's tubby. And that makes me feel trash. So after the stream, I'm gonna upload the today's video, and then go for like an hour run. Is the plan. Can you tell us about your org and any events coming up that we can join? So, Zin, I will be getting Zin to run some org events at some point. Let's just start them and then start running them every like fortnight or something. I do have a BoredGamer org, but it's social and is sort of like there for the future. Don't use it much at the moment. Do you think players will ever be able to build cities by themselves? So you're obviously going to be able to build bases and to a larger scale if you've got a pioneer or multiple pioneers. Do we think we'll be able to get huge bases that become cities? More like towns, I'd say. Like, you're not going to be able to build giant skyscrapers, at least not in the long term. Maybe the extreme term, they might go, you know what, you can build cities, kid. Though that's not something they've talked about. Do you think there will be any big reveals this CitizenCon? Probably. Ship-wise, yeah. They'll probably give us some cool things in each of the panels that will be like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. So we've got here. What else have we got? I don't even think regarding exploration for other star systems being added to Star Citizen yet. Have you? So obviously they're building out star systems at the moment. So we're going to get Pyro next, and then probably Nyx after that. Exploration beyond that, there's going to be a huge amount you can do in game. It's going to be star systems and stuff to find eventually. I wouldn't expect them to be super regular, but more sort of like finding points of interest, even in like the standard system on the edges. It's going to be very possible, and on planets and on moons and that sort of stuff. Surveying, finding some other oddities and anomalies. That's going to be a big portion of exploration. CIG should honestly pay you to be a spokesperson, but I like in a autonomous position, you bring a ton of money their way. Maybe then in the future I'll have some sort of affiliate system. I mean, that would be cool for content creators. There is an issue. So, like, CIG do give me an occasional ship or whatever specifically for giveaway with no strings attached. You literally go, do what you want, say what you want. You can have this if you want it. Don't have to do anything. Don't have to say anything as a thank you. I don't mind taking that and then using it for giveaways. I don't mind that. If there was any promotional stuff that you had to be tied into, like I don't like the fact that I'm NDA'd for the Evocati tests because it prevents my ability to cover the news in the way I want. Sometimes, I mean, it's not that bad to be honest. In that specific situation, I think the bonuses of being an Evocati, seeing what's happening and where it's going, and the sort of deeper understanding of what's going on, and like NDAs at office tours and things like that. And like CIG talk to me occasionally and give me some, and email me and stuff and tell me information that's like NDA'd about sort of things they're going to be running. So I've seen some things in my office tours that still haven't come to fruition yet, for example, which, yeah, so it's an interesting one. Yeah. I mean, I like money. What ship niches do you feel are still missing? Drone combat. There's obviously could be a ship for every size as well. A ship role-wise, so mechanic-wise and feature-wise, there could be a ship for each feature, each mechanic, each sort of role of every size, and a vehicle. The vehicles doing a lot of the ship stuff as well. Crafting. Quite like the idea of crafting. And then lots of alien stuff as well. I mean, I don't think the alien ranges are expanded out that much yet. Where do you get most of your footage for your videos? So it's a mixture of Inside Star Citizen, means in capturing stuff. What's the probability we'll actually see server meshing in 2023? I'd say 80%. 80% probability from my gut probability. This isn't anti-streaming as a major achievement for Star Citizen and gaming in general. Yeah. It's persistent anti-streaming when combined with being a massively multiplayer RPG and server meshing. That's the impressive thing, because saving local informational local data and being able to generate that's not too impressive, because you'd see that in like sort of implemented in a much smaller scale on other games, but the way that CIG are doing it, yes. Speaking of rivers and water, sorry, what's your favorite ship and why? Mercury Stariner has been since it was released. I love the way it looks. I like the fact that all its button setup and it's all its sort of little hidey holes, the chessboard, it's smuggly, it's got some future gameplay with cargo running. I love it. I just love the way it looks. And it's just a great sort of mission ship for a load of multi-role, multi-crew gameplayiness. Speaking of rivers and water, has CIG mentioned a water vehicle or boat before? Yes, sort of water effects on ships is going to be a thing, and I'm pretty sure for Squadron 42, there was going to be aquatic vehicles for reasons, and I think we're going to see some stuff like that boaty-wise in-game. Don't hold your breath, but I believe that is the case. I'm hoping, yes, we can probably display it around on our Origin yachts. I appreciate all the kind words. Thank you very much. Squared Sausage, that's a beautiful name. When will we see our multifunction displays, cockpit panels of ships be synchronized and usable by all players? Thanks. Expect that to be with the resource system that they've got, that they're working on. That makes sense for them to do that, because they probably will want to synchronize it and make it so that it is seeable by all players. It's very multi-crew. When will we start seeing creature gameplay? So they've got teams working creatures at the moment. Will an existing profession start involving creatures, or do you think a new profession will come at the same time? So I think there'll be missions to clear out sort of critters, be they ranter or whatever, big game hunting, sort of find the boreal stalker and deal with it. I think there'll be sort of skinning and drop opportunities or something like that as well, sort of trophy opportunities, things to sell. And probably animal smuggling type things, because pets are supposed to be a thing. And do you expect the pilot weapons for the Corsair to match the website listing? It might change. The things on the Corsair may change, especially sort of loadouts. The city in the background is from CitizenCon. It's the Pyro facility. One of the little outposts, one of the homesteads there, and the colonialism outposts. Jaybird, oh, you beautiful boy. Hi, Bored. I keep hearing a lot. I keep hearing people wondering how we were getting to Pyro. Could you please show them the wormhole footage? Yes. CitizenCon 2019 gameplay. It was 2019, wasn't it? I love the fact I'm the top video for this. Nice. Bear with me 1 second. Rawr. That's the sound of a bear with me. So, Pyro is connected to the Stanton system via a jump point. So like a teleporty long-range warp gate, and larger ships that aren't snubs will typically have a quantum drive and a jump drive. Not all ships will have a jump drive, but so you can see here, we're still in the Stanton system here. This is footage from CitizenCon 2019. So it's gone to the jump point, which is this gate. And he flies over. And sort of like, I assume this beautiful big Stargate boy, you'll put in a request to jump, and it will take you to the system it's connected to. So this one is connected to the Pyro system. Yeah, so this was just before everything went mad with COVID and that sort of jazz. I wonder if Star Citizen would be further along had it not been for the collapsing of society. What's interesting there is it says that it's taking you to Ruin Station, which I hadn't noticed before. So Ruin Station is the big main pirate landing zone in Pyro. So there may be some level of mini-game-ishness with this. So when you're going through the wormhole, it's basically trying to avoid hitting things, otherwise it will damage your ship or cause you damage, whatever. Sort of trying to follow the wake, I believe. But yeah, how you're going to be getting to Pyro. Obviously, this is several years ago and more of a demo of what it's going to be like. And it will look a lot better. And I suspect there'll be autopilot-y ways of doing it as well, and potentially some manually ones. I think that the idea is that jump points that have gates with them, which is all the ones we sort of know about, they are safe or pretty safe, so that you don't have to worry so much about like colliding or exploding when you're doing them. But if you're traversing an entirely new one and that you're sort of mapping, whatever, maybe that's dangerous. So sort of bear that in mind. Gameplay will evolve. How is persistent entity streaming from what we have now? So items, they're left on the ground, will persist there. Servers will be able to be regenerated and save data. So server crashes, it's not volatile anymore. Loads back up, bam, same data. That's pretty big. That's obviously incredibly important for redundancy and server meshing. This stuff's not lost anymore. The problem is that will we get back on the same server that we have affected? I'm expecting there to be a lot less servers, as I said earlier, just because of the nature of, yeah, restart the server, bam, it's got this server data, bam, put this up. I just wish, I'm hoping, in the very near future, Cloud Imperium will initiate two things. If this is the way we have servers for a while, shards, that they'll number them so we know which ones they are, call them something, and we can queue for them. Yeah? Wouldn't that be cool? I want to be in this one. Okay? I don't mind queuing. In 3.18, does a 30k crash the shard or just the dedicated game server? So the game server and the shard are exactly the same thing in 3.18 with persistent entity streaming at the moment. They will obviously be decoupled eventually, and there'll be multiple servers in one shard eventually with like the server meshing. So it crashes them both. It crashes the same thing, and then can regenerate it based on the last save of its data, which should be almost exactly where it crashed. What else have we got? We have like 10 ships still concepted and not made. They should stay working on ships, but maybe stop constantly announcing new ships. Eagle 6, so there is an argument for that. Obviously, they are getting through a lot more ships than they are announcing. So they are building out a lot more ships. They are getting a lot more ships out, which is great. There still are some very old ships, like the Banner Merchantman, which are still not made, and the Orion, things like that. And some of these ships are going to be a while. Obviously, they're working on the Banner Merchantman now, hopefully till completion. The Orion, I think, is going to be quite far away, just because of the size of it. Things like the Endeavour as well, quite far into the future. Just because science gameplay is going to be a while. I don't mind them announcing new ships and concepting ships to an extent. It's part of their sort of monetization model. It's how viable is that gameplay? Is it something that actually fills a hole in Star Citizen and is sensible to do? And how long is it going to be until you get these ships out? Got a little bit more leniency for the older ships, although they are getting through them. As long as they're getting through making more ships and putting them in hands than they're announcing each year, great. There's definitely an argument to be had, like, get these ships finished before making some more that are very similar. Come on, what are you doing? Have you ever played Star Citizen using any, like, a motion simulator? Anything like a motion simulator? I've played VR before. I'm using Vulpix. I've not used like a treadmill or anything for Star Citizen, or the vibration-y bestie boys. How far along is atmosphere inside of ships tech? Things like venting atmosphere from a room. So the room system's very far along, so they can each individual room and section of an area can have its own composition and atmosphere. Explosive decompression. Explosive decompression. It's not in yet, but the leaking out of an atmosphere from an area is very much in. There is going to be, there's work on life support systems, which will advance that gameplay somewhat. probably expect to see some of this stuff next year. How many times has Zin shot you by mistake? Very, very rarely. It would only be an FPS she would have shot me by mistake, almost certainly. And it would be a couple of times, maybe, sort of thing. I haven't noticed her do it. I've certainly shot her a few times. Oh, I mean, actually, she shot me the other day and blamed me. It's because we were in the lift together and we opened it up in the night on Siege of Orison, opened up the lift. But I moved out and she was shooting someone. And obviously I moved in front of her, but it's because it was janky. I see Borders learned to ignore my question. Sorry, Merrick. No, I literally just answered it. Ha! Get wrecked, son. What else have we got here? How's life? Yeah, right. Thank you very much for asking. Doing pretty well. Feeling pretty dehydrated, pretty tired. I'm going to go for a run after I get my video up after this live stream. Let's power through some more of these questions. Do you think they will show a concept of the Banu trip taker? What? I do think we're going to see some more of the Banu Merchantman at CitizenCon and probably the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. Any giveaways at the moment? So today is the last day for my channel to get into the 100. I think it's 100 series giveaway. So 100i, 125, and 135C all to give away. Comment on one of my videos. A winner will probably be announced tomorrow. Winners for that. So there's 3 winners. And then October's giveaway is going to be for a Cutlass Black Skull and Crossbones edition with lifetime insurance and game package. I believe all those 100 series come with game packages. Citation needed. Yeah, they do. They got to. If not, I'll add them. Do you expect bioengineering to be part of science gameplay, making critters? I expect there to be sort of sciencey crafting stuff and maybe stuff to research with animals. I haven't thought about it beyond that. As a part of the cargo factor, will we be able to claim and place a ground or snub vehicle inside a larger ship? I believe that will be part. I'm hoping that is part of 3.18 with persistent entity streaming and stowing and unstowing. Although it will be based on have they got the UI done for it? Because tech-wise, I believe they're there. They just need to build a UI so that you can spawn a ship in vehicle in ship. When was Pyro supposed to be released? No hard dates for Pyro. I'm expecting it Q2 2023. How long is Jared and Disco staying in the UK? For quite a while, I think. I think he's here indefinitely, as it were. As the Carrack is designed to find and travel to new jump gates, but they all are already mapped out in the star map? Question mark. So there's going to be other jump points to find, either entirely new systems or to current systems. You might see temporary ones as well, and obviously the Carrack is going to be doing a lot more than that. It's going to be finding points of interest. It's going to be surveying, like sort of asteroid fields, anomalies, load of stuff that you can do in exploration beyond finding new jump points. Will there ever be a vehicle that can go on land, sea, air, and space, and undersea? Spaceship. Spaceship will be able to do most of that. I mean, it hasn't got wheels. Well, actually, loads of them got landing gear that got wheels on. If a person has hidden subscriptions, are they able to win your giveaways? It's irrelevant whether you're subscribed or not. You do not need to be a subscriber to win one of my giveaways on my YouTube channel, unless otherwise stated. So it's you don't need to be. I want you to be a subscriber. I want you to give me money as well, separate from that, as a channel member. But they are not required to win the giveaways. Comment on the videos. Has there been any more talk about the Expanse and when it's supposed to make it in game? What? The Expanse? What's the Expanse? Why am I not remembering the Expanse? What is the Expanse? What am I doing? What's my brain? The Expanse? Can't remember the Expanse. Is it mining? The refining ship. Got it. Oh, that was a brain fart. I couldn't remember the Expanse at all. I was like, what? Talking about the TV show The Expanse? I think that's the first time a ship's literally left my brain. So no new information as far as I'm aware on the Expanse. Obviously, they want to have refining in game on a ship level, probably as quickly as possible. But yeah, it's the refining ship. Oh, thanks for that. That literally drove me mad briefly. They only have over 100 ships. How could you not remember them? I don't own an Expanse as well. That's the other thing. I've got a Prospector, and I've got like an Orion and things like that. Getting into a critical mass level now. My old lumpy brain and head can't carry all the information. Has there been any more? Let's literally talked about that. So no more talk about this. In fact, I'd forgotten about the ship. Do you think that solo gameplay will be viable later game? Yeah. So there's going to be things for solo players to do, and there's going to be loads of mission content and stuff for solo players to do, and you might want to work briefly with a group or assist a group or sell information to a group as a solo player. I think that there's a lot more of the game to experience if you do both solo and multi crew gameplay. I mean, obviously, solo allows you to be a lot more malleable, quick, and just wham bam, go and do something without you having to wait for someone or there to be problems. So there's a lot of advantages to solo play. Obviously, doing some hard fleet battles and stuff, you can probably assist other people. Like obviously Xenothreat, you could jump in as a solo player and help, couldn't you? And the Siege of Orison, you could jump in solo and help the other people that you don't need to be with them, but you are working towards a common goal. But do you think you're cutting some of the gameplay out by wanting to just solo and don't want to be part of an org or something? But I think it's viable. Certainly going to be the ships like Vulture and Prospector and stuff that work totally fine solo. When Genesis Starliner, it's one of my mate's favourite ships. Don't know when. There's no updates for a while. Best guess for CitizenCon's straight to flyable. Don't know either. They have not announced stuff. They have kept it very close to their chest. I have not seen any leaks, not even like little personal ones or ones I like worried about talking about. I've seen nothing. Will you and Zin be enjoying a spicy beverage or two during CitizenCon or food? Probably be working really. Might have a celebratory glass of wine. So Zin's got a load of my wine at hers because we do holidays and stuff together quite regularly. Her and her partner, me, and some of my other friends. Maybe we do enjoy a tipple, but I'm going to be working those days. Cargo effect is going to be huge, even at small scale at first, because eventually or suddenly ships that only allow certain cargo are now useful. Yes, for sure. But also, I mean, it could very well in 3.18 add times to load and unload and costs associated with that. It could allow for a lot more interactivity. Do you know anything about the Liberator? There's no new information about the Liberator. I really like the Liberator, so that's the basically the assault platform that can carry loads of ships and vehicles and marines and all that sort of jazz. I think I've got a Liberator. You'd like it. Yeah, it looks like a World War II beach landing craft. How cool is this boy? Obviously going to be moving ships and vehicles around the verse a lot, probably, for a mixture of, you know, logistics and combat and assaults. So, very cool stuff. Right. Any other questions I can answer real quick? How much do you need to spend to get concierge? $1,000 on your account. It's a lot of money. You don't get that much for it. So be aware. Any hints on secret ships coming as it's gone? No, I'm not aware of the specifics of any new ships that are coming to CitizenCon or the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, at least at this time and at this time. With that being said, about solo gameplay, do you think that making a small group, kind of like a gun for hire, that's good at one specific thing would be worthwhile? Yes. Yeah, definitely. Definitely going to be players that want other players to help them. There needs to be a rating system and a robust contract system to allow for that, though, because otherwise people will just assume you're a troll, or at least worry about that. Do you know what I mean? But if you're like, I'm 5-star rated. If we see Chris Roberts at CitizenCon, does that mean 6 more weeks of summer or an early winter? That is a good joke. He's effectively a groundhog. Any news on the banner matchment? No new news since the last stuff they talked about. It's in active production. I expect to see some more of it at CitizenCon or the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. Will knowing all the Star Citizen ships end up causing insanity, like knowing too many languages in D&D? I know, right? Right. I'm going to find someone else that is streaming. So I'll be getting a video out within the next half an hour or so, sort of going over all the 3.18 status updates and all the sort of features that we've seen updates so far with 3.18 beyond what we last saw. So sort of stay tuned for that on my YouTube channel. That'll be dropping very shortly. If you want to further support the channel, then please do. There's direct donation, there's becoming a channel member with the join button, there's Patreon, and we are starting to get those sort of additional exclusive content out now with like me and Sin playing Bridge Crew VR and things like that. But you also have a more of a chance to influence the channel and some of the stuff we do, at least earlier, and all that sort of jazz. Yeah. Love you guys very much. Appreciate you joining me today. I'm going to send you over to the lovely Space Tomato. He's a beautiful boy. He makes some fantastic content, and I'm looking to do some more stuff with him in the future. And I will send you that way. /raid. Boop. He's doing a little podcast with a load of content creators at the moment. You can go watch that. Give them some love. Lovely Noob Fire is there. I love him. Thank you so much for watching. Send this to you guys as well. You are very late sketch therapy, but I love you anyway. You are a beautiful boy. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for everyone joining me today. You take care, guys, and I'll see you in the verse. And very much looking forward to CitizenCon. And if you need to contact me for any reason, get me at rich@boardgamer.co.uk, or you can go onto my Discord. Talk to me there. Love you loads. Bye. Peace.